Yeah, so good morning everyone. So we have daily chart of Nifty. As you know, Nifty has already made its lifetime high today by opening gap up. So let us analyze whether it will be able to sustain these levels or no, or whether we can find some reversal at the higher end. Now, if we see precisely, there has been an upward trajectory in Nifty. In the last calls, what we were trying to understand if it can breach 1087 or no. So yesterday or Friday, the close was exactly around this 1085 mark, and now today it opens high, which is where today it opens up, which is way higher than its previous levels as well. So it opened high and started zooming higher. That shows a complete bullish sign. But if we see the other supportive upward move is when it opens higher and it maintains the low of today is more or less higher than its previous Nifty's high. Right, so lifetime high of Nifty, which was there prior, which was around 10,130. So today it opens high, and the low of today's candle is 1,030, or low of today's day is 1,030. So this shows a complete bullish sign on Nifty. Now, as we had discussed on the pivot levels, 1060, 10,160 is very crucial on the upper side because a big resistance can come for at 10,160 mark. Now, after seeing the gap up opening, which is way above so many days high, and couple of days of selling, which was seen prior around these 10,130 levels, so it opens all the way high and it basically zooms higher. So this level of today's low will be very crucial for Nifty. If it can support, we can basically find a further upside, which is easy likely going forth. Now let's go and see on the hourly chart. If we go down, the pretty much the same structure has been maintained more or less. If you see yesterday's close, it was around this 10,080 mark, and today it opens gap up and it tries to remain high from the previous Nifty highs. Okay, so previous Nifty's all-time high also was roughly around these levels of 10,132, and then today it just opens there and it is remaining bullish. Right, so this level is very important, or today's low is very important, whether it can sustain or not, and then we can find an upward trajectory going ahead. Now, agreed that it is being very bullish, but ideally it is not being backed by very good fundamental news. So any kind of selling can come forth in Nifty at any point of time, especially for this month, since there is no big events as such. And if you see over here, if it is opening today higher, takes it to the high near its pivot levels. So we need to see whether it can forcefully or with large amount of pressure, can it take away this levels of 10,160, 180 mark, which are very crucial from pivot point of view. So more or less the structure remains intact for the up move. If you see the last day, it opens gap up. Okay, it was below so many days low, then it again tries to breach that and go higher, and today it opens gap up. This gap is very crucial for Nifty, that is 10,086 mark and 10,130 mark, right? So this gap is very crucial for Nifty, and the level of previous level of 52-week high, or you can say all-time high, becomes very crucial any which ways. Now even on the micro stand, let's say 5 minutes chart, it remains clear that yes, it opened gap up, it was completely bullish, zooming higher. If we see now, there is some amount of selling, but that's pretty much it will be because it's basically zooming there in the zone of pivot levels, and there might be some people who would want to also exit their positions who would have taken on Friday and went away. So ideally, yes, the bullish stance for Nifty remains pretty clear now, but the level to be watched is 10,130 mark. Now 10,130 mark cannot be broken that easily. Right, so today's day's low cannot be broken that easily, and we need to be sure whether this sustains or no. On the higher side, on 10,160 to 180, there are pivot levels where it will find resistance at least for a day or two if it wants to march further high. So that's on the Nifty stand. Let's go and see if we are finding Bank Nifty also zooming higher and providing support to Nifty or no. From the previous call for Bank Nifty, we were clear that yes, 25,000 mark was very crucial for Bank Nifty, and it did find some resistance and it did go down. Now, from the pivot standpoint, again 25,000 and 25,050 were important levels from pivot point of view as well. And what happens today? It opens gap up and it zooms higher. So even Bank Nifty or Nifty both are in the pivot resistance zone, some crucial levels. So let's see whether they can reach those levels and sustain higher or not. Now the setup of Nifty looks way more better than setup of Bank Nifty, because Bank Nifty has also approached on the pivot levels, but it has not made fresh all-time high, right? So some selling might come in Bank Nifty at the higher levels or around this 25,100 levels, and it can also bring pressure on Nifty as well. But Nifty seems to be in a very good spot, and the setup seems to be amazing. If you see over here for Bank Nifty, on the lower stand, it opens gap up today and it zooms higher straight away in the zone where the pivot resistance is there. So 25,000 and 25,100 is the range of pivot where we can find selling in this range, and it can bring additional stoppage for Nifty to go higher. Now, even on the hourly front, the concept remains the same, the structure remains the same. If you see on the Friday, it opened gap down, tried to be down, and then it opens all of a sudden today gap up and zooms higher. So let's see whether it can sustain these levels on the higher side, 2550 or 25,100, and whether it can provide support to Nifty or not.